and Happy New Year. Our executive session has ended, but before we resume our regular meeting for the Atlanta Board of Education, let us take a moment of silence to honor the life and great work of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter and former Georgia State Senator Vincent Fort. Thank you. This evening, we are excited to share with you the Mythic Guitar Quartet from Farrell High School. The quartet includes Sierra Mitchell, Shondelay Gray, Larry Lockhart, and David Williams. The guitar program at Farrell started with a partnership with the University of Georgia's lead guitar program and has gone to expand the music education offerings for students. Now let us hear from our talented students. Thank you. Would you all come forward to take a picture with the board behind you? What an excellent performance by such a talented students. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Dr. Johnson for his recognition.
Awesome. Let's give these talented students another round of applause as they wrap up. All right. So happy New Year, everyone. I hope that everybody had a nice break and enjoyed some rest. This evening, there are a lot of lists that come out, and we want to make sure that we take a moment of pause to recognize some schools that are doing some really good work. So I'd like to recognize two groups of schools. The first group scored 100 on the Closing the Gap component of the CCRPI, and the second group scored a 100 on the Content Mastery component of the CCRPI. A score of 100 on Content Mastery makes these schools some of the highest achieving schools in Georgia, and a score of 100 on the Closing the Gap really assesses whether or not schools are effectively improving the performance of all student populations, just not the overall average. So we're going to call all the schools up individually. I know we've got some principals here. We want to recognize our representatives. We want to recognize all of you, and we're going to take one big picture. So listen up for your school. In the area of Closing the Gap, Barack and Michelle Obama. And Dr. Christian, you get the lights turned down for you as you come up. No, sorry, we got on the lights. Congratulations. Bolton Academy. Miss Mincy's here. Boyd Elementary, Miss Blair. Cascade Elementary, Miss Tiffany Malman. Centennial Academy, Miss Stephanie Hodges. Continental Colony Elementary, Dr. Christian Horton. Deerwood Academy, Miss Joy Antone. Dobbs Elementary, Miss Tiffany Reagan. Dunbar Elementary, Dr. Wright. F.L. Stanton, Dr. McIntyre. Gideon's Elementary, Mr. Robert Owens. Harper Archer Elementary, Dr. Crystal January. Hollis Elementary, Miss Barbara Shea. Hope Hill Elementary, Miss Keisha Knight. Kimberly Elementary, Mrs. Christy Reese. Kipsole Primary, Mr. Emmanuel Mathis. Kip Vision Primary, Miss Yolanda Weems. Mary Lynn Elementary, Miss Denise Brinkslett. Miles Elementary, Miss Talise Perry. Springdale Park Elementary, Dr. Jennifer Toney. Toomer Elementary, Miss Carolyn Brown. Tuskegee Global Airman Academy, Mrs. Atoli, Miss Atoli. Usher Collier Elementary, Mr. Jerry Parker. Those are elementary schools that scored a 100 on Closing the Gap. For middle schools, y'all just keep standing. We just going to let y'all bask in it. You got to do it again. All right. So middle schools, Atlanta Neighborhood Charter Schools, Mr. Mark Sanders. Centennial Academy, Mr. Cedric Thorbs. Price Middle, Dr. Natasha Hogan Mahan. And then for high schools, we have Carver Early College, Miss Christina Rogers. Atlanta Classical Academy, Mr. Aaron Sheps. Coretta Scott King, Miss Washington. And Jackson High, Dr. Adam Dancer. Dancer got a fan club. Content Mastery. So these are schools scored a 100 for Content Mastery. Mary Lynn, Denise Brinkslid. Morningside Elementary, Brian Barron. Springdale Park Elementary. Springdale Park, 2 for 2, Dr. Jennifer Tony, you're already up here. And Virginia Highland, Mr. Terry Harness. And I am going to point out, Springdale a little bit here, because when you make it for Closing the Gap, right? And Mary Lynn too, right? Yes, I'm sorry. And Mary Lynn. Thank you. I'm sorry. I apologize. When you make it for Closing the Gap, right, and Content Mastery, like that's big work. So kudos to both of those schools. So we're going to come up and take a picture with you all. And again, congratulations on the great work, and know that you're busy doing it again. Dr. Tony was pointing out they got 100 in progress too. So you get triple threat. Congratulations again to all of you.
Good evening and welcome to the public comment portion of tonight's agenda. In just a few moments, the board will begin hearing from those who properly signed up to speak by 5:50 p.m. Those who have properly signed up will have received an email confirmation. The board welcomes your comments. But before we get started, please take note of the following guidelines on how public comment is conducted. The board has allocated 1 hour for public comment, and each speaker will only be allowed to speak once for a total of 2 minutes. The board may elect to hear community comments in any order or sequence consistent with board policy and is not limited by the order of the sign-up sheets. All speakers presenting highly detailed information are asked to put their comments in writing and submit via our Let's Talk platform under the topic Board of Education. In order to maintain meeting decorum, follow appropriate protocols, protect the confidentiality of students, and ensure impartiality, the board will not hear comments on matters involving individual students, parents, or the character, professional competence, or the physical or mental health of any individual. Also, the board would not hear public comment on personnel matters that specifically include the names or titles of employees. This includes contract non-renewals, position abolishment, the hiring or firing of staff, and investigative proceedings regarding allegations of misconduct. Comments regarding personnel issues should be sent in writing to the Atlanta Board of Education, 130 Trinity Avenue Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303, or via email at boardcomments@atlantapublicschools.us. Finally, in order to maintain meeting decorum and to assure all comments can be heard by the board, applause, cheering, jeering, or speech that defames individuals or stymies or blocks meeting progress should be refrained from and may be cause for removal, adjournment of the meeting, and or suspension from attending future Atlanta Board of Education events, hearings, meetings, and other proceedings. If any individual disrupts the meeting, the board chair or designated board member will issue a warning to cease the disruptive behavior. If the disruptive behavior continues, the board will ask, excuse me, the individual will be asked by the board chair or designated board member to leave the meeting and may be escorted by security personnel if necessary. With that said, I'd like to call the first three speakers to the microphone. Chairwoman Brooke Smith, followed by Kimberly Brooks and Nisha Dobbs.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Johnson, members of the board, district leaders, and community stakeholders. My name is Brooke Smith. I am honored to serve as the chair of the Student Advisory Council. While we initially planned to celebrate the many accomplishments of SAC this year, the recent acts of violence and tragic loss of multiple students compel us to shift forward. It is our responsibility as representatives of the 50,000 students of APS to speak on what we have been experiencing. We must acknowledge the devastating violence that has shaken our schools and claimed the lives of promising students. The grief felt by families, peers, and educators is profound, and these tragedies highlight the urgent need for action. Among the losses, we mourn one of our own, Christian, a beloved SAC delegate whose kind and gentle spirit will never be forgotten. Our thoughts are with his family and all who loved him. This moment demands that we prioritize the mental health and well-being of all students. APS must provide accessible and widely utilized mental health services alongside robust support systems for families and peers in times of tragedy. When mental health struggles influence decision-making, the outcomes can be irreversible and life-changing. Addressing the reality requires bold, unified efforts. We, the SAC, call on the board, district leadership, families, and the greater Atlanta community to come together to create an intensive, holistic plan. This plan must proactively identify and support students in need, foster safe spaces for healing, and normalize seeking help. Together, we can prevent future tragedies and help students thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. When students are heard, we don't just participate, we lead. Let's honor those we've lost by working tirelessly to protect and uplift those who remain. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Kimberly Brooks.
I will say that I'm not excited about the time being cut from 2 to 3 minutes. As such, I would just say that I'm a child of God. I stand on the side of right. I'm always going to do right by this school and by the city of Atlanta and its residents. So I just wanted to say that upon notifying someone on this board on April 10th, 2024, I was given no response to the mistreatment of the schools, and for which I requested and demanded by the parents that are not here today because we went to the meeting yesterday and they didn't have the opportunity to speak regarding the closure and permanent partnership ceasement of Kendesi, KIP, and purpose-built schools. I believe that the Atlanta Board of Education is participating in racism as it relates to quality education and access to quality education. I emailed the Board of Education on February 2028, April 10, 2024, and the documents was Bully and I promoted OCG A.20-2-754.1, rules and regulations for the state of Georgia as it relates to Code of Ethics for Educators, Rule 50-6-1, and also, in addition to those things, the violation of the access to IEPs, educational services provided by the federal government, which should be afforded to all schools, which I've notified that a lot of schools in typical partnership schools have not had access to. Because I only have a few minutes, I would have been able to give you better contact information, but I'm going to leave it up to you to contact me. My name is Kimberly Brooks. You will need to contact me eventually. Should this lead to legal action, just understand that Atlanta's strong. The Atlanta Board of Education has failed the city. Dr. Bryan, I'll give you a pass because the board has done this before. You're new. Sometimes I just think they just go through superintendents. So we're just going to notify that so that you know that that comes from me personally. But I represent most of the kids in this city, and I represent them fairly and rightly, and we don't tolerate corruption. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Can we please have Nisha Dobbs, followed by John Davis and Kimberly Dukes?
Good evening, board. As you all know, I'm Nisha Dobbs, Parent Support Advisor with the Atlanta Thrive. I just had a question I want to put on everyone's mind. It's about social emotional with the children of today. I just lost my father on the 3rd, and knowing that I have to keep coming to work, I have to perform. And with the feelings that I have, knowing that my father did live a life, it wasn't tragic, but it was my father. And I think about children that lose their parents, siblings, all the tragedies that's happening, and they have to come to school and pay attention. I really believe that we all need to revamp social emotional, especially in certain districts, because it's real out here. Parents are losing their homes. Children are sleeping in parks. It's a lot for them to deal with. And when they do find somewhere, you want them to come to school and be mistreated. I really want APS to look at social emotional as a major concern this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dobbs. Can I have John Davis?
Greetings. I want to first wish everyone a happy new year, and then I want to welcome Tolton Pace to the board. I actually know him, and a great man, so congratulations on your seat. Also, I would just like to talk very quickly about something that we do at Thrive. It's called I Like, I Wish, I Wonder. And one of the things that I do like, the fact that with Atlanta Thrive on last year, we actively engaged with over 1,000, actually 1,004 new parents, where we actually met with them and talked with them. And then we also had about 119 powerful parents, and these are parents that attend 3 or more events that we have at Thrive, and also attend a board meeting or come out to a board event. And then we graduated over 61 fellows out of our special education program that we do. We do a 6-week special education fellowship, and so we were excited about that. And then the next thing that we do is called I Wish. And the reason why I bring those numbers up, because I wish the board and the district would understand that you can actually do real parent engagement, that it can be done, that you can actually touch thousands of parents. But you have to be able to do it in a way that lets the parents know that you're really serious about the engagement. And it can be done when you're actually listening to the parent, you're learning from the parent, and you're actually building those relationships. You just can't have a data dump where we're just going to meet with you and we're going to talk, but you actually have to have the parents talk. And I want to thank Dr. Johnson for those meetings that he does where he just lets parents ask questions. That's the way you build those relationships and begin to build that trust. And the last thing that we do is it's called I Wonder. I wonder what a real partnership between Atlanta Thrive and the district would look like, because we're doing the work of being on the ground. We meet with parents. Every year we're actively getting 1,000 parents, and we're actually bringing those parents through our fellowship, teaching them how to navigate through the Atlanta public school system. We're also building those partnerships with HIP. We're building those partnerships with Purpose Built. And I just wonder what that partnership would look like if the board would reach out and actively engage with us on that partnership. Thank you, guys, and I wish you a new year.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Kimberly Dukes, followed by Nathaniel Dyer, and then Alexander Belizar.
Happy New Year, Dr. Johnson and board members. I want to follow up behind John. He talked about what he wondered about. I think the goal is for us to fully understand Atlanta and who is connected with community. And I also think that Atlanta Thrive is sometimes misunderstood when you hear the word advocate. We Atlanta Thrive, we do hold people accountable. We hold ourselves accountable. We hold our parents accountable. We hold the schools and the district accountable. If you know me, you know we roll that way. But I want you guys to ask yourself, what do real partnership look like with community partners? It is important because it allows trusted community members to build and deepen relationships with parents, schools, and districts. We do it every day. It allows data to be collected and shared transparently to solve our issues together. That's the only way. It provides a mutual party to host community conversations to create action plans that hold all stakeholders accountable, as parents, schools, and the district, without leading with fear, intimidation, retaliation, and unwelcoming behavior. There is opportunity, in Brian Johnston's words, to build and deepen relationships with parents through trusted community partners. If the school and the district don't have the capacity to reach parents and communities, I wonder why aren't you leading it on community leaders like myself and groups like Atlanta Thrive. So I want you guys to ask yourself, why aren't you partnering with parent groups that have proven track records that's working with all Atlanta parents and the district and the school? Happy New Year, and you guys have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Dukes. Nathaniel Dyer.
I heard there are a group of imposters running around Atlanta claiming to be the Atlanta Public Schools Board, code name Dumb, Dummier, and Dumbest. Seems like they don't learn from the past. The cheating scandal 2009, the proposed 13 school closures, the lack of remediation for those students during that time. And then, of course, after that, you want to close and merge schools. Here we are today with a $100 million budget shortfall. Tell me if you know these people. 31 APS schools on the Georgia Promise list of failing schools, which makes them vulnerable for closure. 200 plus million going to KIPP and partner schools, which you have no accountability or say-so over. But they're here tonight. You have $6,500 that the state awarded against people who want to use the vouchers to pull their kids out. So that really puts the 31 schools set up for closure into perspective, that you won't have a school system. Let's see, what else is there? So many things about these impostures. Oh, yeah, and then these areas that I hit, mainly Washington, Douglas, and Carver, which I've been saying for a long period of time. And then the Southern Poverty Law Center, got this in the mail, says that 4 schools in the Washington cluster have been flagged during this review, which closure and consolidation. So you're on the radar. Who does that to children? Cheating scandal, lack of remediation, budget shortfall. You got children that came here tonight saying, hey, give us some help, recognize us. But you're concerned with buildings, brick and mortar, developers. I see you got Arthur Blank's guy up there. How you doing, man? Welcome to the team of failure. It's not the children. The children are brilliant. It's you guys who are going to make national news and be the laughingstock. I think there was something that said, let's close gaps, not schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dyer. Can I have Alexander Belizar, followed by Simone Corbin, and lastly, Renard Burrell.
Good evening. My name is Alexander Belizar, and I'm proud to be one of the first 5 scholars along with my peers Warren Trewick, Issa Shaheed, Tyree Brooks, and Damaris Davis. Along with in the country accepted into Morehouse College class of 2029. Even more special, all 5 of us are seniors at Kip Atlanta Collegiate. Last month, we had the incredible honor of being surprised by the Morehouse admissions team who delivered the news in person. It was a moment we'll never forget, and it's even more meaningful to share this milestone with you in January, the birth month of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a Morehouse alum and a symbol of excellence and change. We're so grateful for the support that helped us reach this point, support from KIP, our teachers, counselors, families, and APS. As KIP scholars, we've been pushed to dream big and strive for greatness. As APS scholars, we represent not just KIP, but the entire school district. The education and opportunities we receive here have shaped us into the young men we are today and have paved the way for success we're stepping into now. Standing here tonight, I'm filled with pride, not just for myself, but for my peers who share this moment with me. Together, we represent the incredible potential of APS scholars and what happens when students are given the resources and encouragement to thrive. On behalf of all of us, thank you for believing in us, for providing a foundation of excellence, and for inspiring us to carry forward the legacies of greatness we've seen in leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're ready to make you proud as Morehouse Men in 2029. Thank you.
Simone Corbin.
Good evening, members of the APS Board and Superintendent Johnson. My name is Simone Corbin, a senior at Kip Atlanta Collegiate, accepted into Spelman College's class of 2029 among numerous colleges and universities. It is my pleasure to be here tonight and discuss the importance of student engagement and how these board members and meetings impact our school community. Being able to participate in these meetings was an eye-opening opportunity that allowed for me, as well as my peers, to contribute to the discussions regarding our education and our school environments. We came with the intentions of bettering our school environment and encouraging board members to implement some of our academic standards and practices from Kip Atlanta Collegiate into other APS schools. That meeting truly expanded my perspective on the importance of every student being able to have a voice, and when decisions are being made about our education, we are able to speak. Getting the chance to be at the table and share our experiences made me feel my voice as a student, an athlete, and a leader in my school community truly matters. This experience showed me that we have the ability to encourage and advocate for ourselves and the future of our schools. It's one thing to hear about leadership, but being in a space where you're encouraged to lead is something completely different. Using my voice encourages my drive to dream bigger, work harder, and believe that what I express to the leaders of this community can actually make a difference. Finally, I want to say how much it means to have role models like Ken Zeff, or as we call him, Dr. Ken, who are showing us what it looks like to make a difference. Opportunities like these teach us leadership skills we can use way beyond high school, and your support and willingness to listen reminds us that we're not just students, but we're also a part of the solution. Thank you for prioritizing students like me, for listening to what we have to say, and for strengthening the partnership between KIPP Atlanta Schools and APS. Together, I truly believe we can make a difference for every student in this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Corbin. Lastly, Renard Burrell.
Good evening and Happy New Year's to the Chair, the Board, and Superintendent Johnson. My name is Renard Burrell with the Federation of Public Service Employees. First, I want to congratulate Mr. Tolson Pace on his appointment to the board. I attended the community meeting last night, and the board had a solid group to select from. I would like to salute Wayne Martin and Nathan Jester for stepping up to serve the community as well. Tonight, I wish to announce to the community and to the board as a whole our FPSE, APSE Principal of the Year 5 finalists. They are Miss Melissa St. Joy for Hudson Elementary School, Dr. Tiffany Franklin, Beecher Hills Elementary, Miss Clara McCall-McCoo, Crawford Long Middle School, Miss Kimberly Gibbs, King Middle, and Dr. Christian Rogers at Carver Early College. We will announce our Principal of the Year on February 8th, 2 p.m. to be held at the City Hall atrium. APS employees will be allowed to provide additional input on our 5 finalists. Finally, we take exception to Kip Way's campaigning early for their charter renewal, instead of focusing on teaching our students. There will be plenty of time to debate this issue, but for now, the focus should be on turning the failing campus around instead of bashing our APS staff and pretending they are successful. I am reminded, all that shines is not silver, and everything that glitters is not gold. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, community members, for speaking with us this evening. We always appreciate your feedback and engagement. Please note that for our stakeholders who cannot attend our monthly meeting, we have launched our board meeting recap videos, which can be found on our website. We want to provide every resource available to facilitate stakeholder engagement. Tell your neighbor. At this time, I would like to formally announce our newest board member, Tolton Pace, has joined us and will serve out the remaining of the term of former board member Ishay Collins. Tolton Pace, welcome to the Atlanta Board of Education. We look forward to working with you and continue to move Atlanta Public Schools forward. We will also want to thank Ishay Collins for her years of service on the Atlanta Board of Education. From 2014 to 2024, Ms. Collins has provided 10 years of dedicated service to the students and families of Atlanta Public Schools, and we will truly miss you, and we wish you well in your next endeavors at the Atlanta City Council. Please come up to receive your recognition from the board.
And I personally want to say, I'll take a personal privilege. Thank you, Ishay, for your leadership and your guidance and your time.
Now I will open the floor for our board members to give their comments.
Okay, since you want me to start. Again, I did say thank you, but I really, really appreciate you, Ishay, for taking me under your wing, for being a mentor, for being patient with me, for listening when I may have pushed, calming me down when I might have needed a little calming, but just thank you. And I could say more, but I'll save it.
We're so happy for you. You know, like, it's hard to change, right? Because you have been on the board for 10 years, and you bring a lot of wisdom and insight and care for us, and so it's hard to let you go. We're excited about Tolton, but we're also excited, like, City Council needs more people like you.
Thank you, board. Well, I'm sorry, City Council member Collins. It just rolls off. Apologize. Thank you for your service and dedication to our students. I know it's been a journey, 10 years, and that's a lot of hard work. And y'all had to make hard decisions on that board. So just thank you for your service to our students.
Councilwoman from East Atlanta to 55 Trinity. Or by way of. Right, there you go, while we're 130. Super grateful for you. Thank you for your leadership, your service to District 6 and the entire city as a whole. More personal conversations to continue, but what a great legacy. Thank you for all that you've done.
Yeah. What God says is yours cannot be denied. What God says is yours cannot be denied. I'm grateful for your friendship. Some 5 years ago, I reached out to you out of nowhere, trying to get my foothold and to make an impact in Atlanta, and you supported me from day one. And so I really appreciate you for that. I encourage you to keep moving forward and keep pushing forward, especially when the wind's against you, try to get stronger. You got this.
Oh, sure. So I'll say that it has definitely been an honor to serve with you as your at-large representative, seat 9, but also as a resident of District 6. I think that the schools in our district are better because of you, and the communities in our district are better because of you. I think that what I'll probably miss most is just your thought leadership and the way that you really help to ground a lot of our decisions and hard conversations in, like, the historical context of the city of Atlanta. And I think heavy is the load of the leader. And I always wondered why you chose that other sorority, but you really, you really do embody. Hold on, I'm trying to say something nice. But you really do embody fortitude, and I want to say I appreciate that for you.
Whew, Ishay, we've been through a lot. I'm gonna cry. We were so new, we were so green when we were 2 of 6 brand new school board members who the citizens of Atlanta trusted to clean it up. We had to, in the first few weeks, we had to hire a superintendent. We had to endure the trials of employees, of administrators who were being tried for criminal acts. We had to restore the trust of the community. And we had to figure out how to do it when we didn't even know where the bathrooms were. Thank you for your friendship, for your thought partnership, for the times we've cried together, the times we've laughed together, the times we've been the only 2 out in the community together. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for teaching me so much about service. I've watched you grow. I've watched you mature. Yeah, I know. Now I sound like your mother, and I'm not. But I've watched you mature as a person and as a leader, and I'm excited to see you take this next step, and honored to have felt like maybe some of the conversations we had, or the times we sat up here together and gritted our teeth and made hard decisions, that maybe some of those contributed in a small part to the great citywide leader that you are going to be on the city council and beyond. Thank you on behalf of Atlanta Public Schools and on behalf of me.
Okay. Nina, did you want to say anything? Okay.
I don't have the pleasure to have worked with you quite as long as some of these folks up here in slightly different capacity, but it has been an absolute pleasure every minute working with you. I am so glad I finally get to call you my representative citywide, and I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to do the wonderful things for this city that I love.
And by the way, it's 11 years, not 10. And we're not going to short you. You earned every one of those days.
Katie? No, back on you.
Sorry, we're all like battling. Thank you, Ishay, for your service and for teaching me so much when I came on board, to the board, no pun intended. I love sharing Carver with you. Thank you for always championing the Carver cluster, and I know you'll continue to in your work across the street. I'm excited for you and all that you'll do. And just know we're here for you, and we're right across the street. So congratulations again. Thank you for your service and leadership.
Madam Councilwoman, I'll just say thank you very, very much. I probably have known you the least amount of time of everybody up here, but I will say, as a new superintendent coming in, having somebody with your experience and your heart for children, your heart for Atlanta Public Schools and the community at large has been extremely advantageous in accelerating my ramp up. So thank you for your work. Thank you for your service. And I'm glad that I know people in high places. So we will be calling. Thank you very, very much.
Just to echo gratitude, as Z, I'm going last to thank you for what you've done as a mentor to me through this process. But really, your poise, your calm, and your fierce intellect are desperately needed across the street. So while you're graduating from APS, we're excited to see the great work you're going to do for our city.
Keith Glass.
Thank you guys again for the opportunity. Isha, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to serve as staff for you on community meetings everywhere throughout the city of Atlanta. I know your heart. I know your passion for District 6, especially South Atlanta High School. Go Hornets. And so just want to say thank you, and I look forward to the great work over at City Council.
And to the second newest person up here, Ishay, day one. I've learned so much from you in a short period of time, and I just appreciate being able to support you in whatever way I could, just picking up those little nuggets that I knew that you embodied to pass on to me. And I know you're going to do the same, plant additional seeds to help other people in the community. And for that, I appreciate the short period of time that I spent with you, and I know I'll spend additional time with you in the future.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. All right. Now we will hear the report outs from conferences and committees.
This month we will have reports from both Board Development and Budget Committee. Budget Chair Howard, please share an update. Ta-da! Hi, we will start with our more prepared board member, Aretta Balden, to talk about board development. And audit.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with audit really quick. The audit committee will be meeting next Thursday, January 16th at 2 o'clock, and we will be reviewing the charter school audit as well as just the audit plan updates. And so I invite anyone who is ready for an exciting, informative conversation to join us next Thursday. Board development is going to meet this month as well. We're looking to finalize the date with my colleagues. It will either be on the same day as audit committee or the following week, aligned with budget and policy, if we can find that space. And what we'll be doing in that time is we'll be finalizing. We're going to forward to policy a recommendation to form us as a formal committee. So we did review that, and that will be going on to policy. And we're also going to finalize our board engagement schedule around community engagement around visions and values. Right now, that is looking like it will be 5 meetings, and we are going to be working with our board members to identify those dates. But please check the first 2 weeks of February. And those are that's the time period that we're looking to tap, and hopefully everyone's schedule will align. But we'll talk offline, and in that meeting we'll be reviewing the details for that engagement. We'll be reviewing the script, going over the details, the run of the show, as well as making sure that we're all aligned with the timeline. I am proud to share with you, Dr. Johnson, which I think he got up. So I'll have to share with him later that we are aligned. We are aligned, yay! And moving forward around community engagement and using that to guide our visions and values, which will then guide the goals and guardrails. So as we talked about in the community meetings with the 100-day plan, this is how we're going to ensure alignment between the community, the board, in the district, that we are all aligned in terms of where we're going and how we're going to get there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board Member
Thank you.
Howard.
Thank you for bearing with me.
Absolutely.
My computer shut down.
It's
And
okay.
appreciate Aretta's update, and I'll just segue it into budget, the budget commission. Sorry, I am on. Let me make sure I'm speaking directly into the microphone. So Budget Commission met December 19th, and we discussed HB 581, which of course is a new statewide homestead exemption. Tonight we heard the recommendation from the administration to opt out. This means we will have 3 public hearings in February. And with the process, if a system is to opt out, they must have 3 public hearings and adopt a resolution by March 1st. And we also know that 76 other school systems in the state are choosing to opt out. 21 right now are saying they'll opt in. But the community will be notified of these public hearings, of course. We encourage people to come and communicate directly with us. And then we also talked about school allotments. We had a really good conversation during the Budget Commission meeting to really understand what the administration is doing around ensuring that schools have baseline that it's tight around areas that will be loose or flexible, and how there will be specific measures in place to monitor progress to ensure what's being done is contributing to an increase in student outcomes. So a lot of excellent work that's been done by Dr. Johnson and team, Dr. Bracken and her team. We appreciate all their hard work. And then we have our next Budget Commission meeting, January 23rd. At that time, will we be getting an update on TADS? Revenue and TADS. Thank you very much. So please tune in. A lot of important information will be shared then. And just to piggyback on what Board Member Baldwin shared, we are working very hard around alignment. Of course, the work through board development and the community engagement we'll be doing with looking to reset our goals, and then how we tie that back to the budget. It is a process. But we're excited about all the work that's been done, is being done, and how the board obviously backs it up with resetting our goals and our guardrails. So look forward to seeing everyone on the 23rd. And yes, thanks for letting me share these updates.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it, and appreciate you both in your leadership on those committees. We also have some conference report outs. Board Chair Mitchell and Board Member Briscoe Brown attended the Georgia School Boards Association Conference. Board Chair Mitchell also attended the 2024 Hope Global Forum. Erica, can you give a brief update, and then we'll have Cynthia add anything else?
Sure. I had the opportunity to attend the Georgia School Board Association Conference. It's always great to, one, be able to attend these conferences to receive continued education and professional development as a school board member. But also I would like to highlight our students. We had 2 students that was on a student panel during the Georgia School Board Conference, and they did extremely well. And so I wrote their names down, but I don't have it with me, so forgive me for that. But I did sit in that panel, and they were on a panel with different students from different school districts around Georgia, and they talked about their experience in school and what support they needed from board members, which I thought was really key. When we talk about student voice, that was student voice. So that, to me, was my highlight outside of going into the different sessions. Cynthia, did you want to add any input?
I think what I get out of the GSB, the annual GSBA mid-year meeting, is the opportunity to talk with board members across the state and find out that we share a lot of concerns. We have a lot of different ones because, as we know, Atlanta is just different. But understanding the struggles that we all have in providing good governance and doing the best we can for our kids. I spent most of my day in the legal issues seminar where they give us an update on legislative issues as well as legal trends. And that helped me to bring back some things that we need to watch out for, and also some positive things that are happening across the state. So that I think is what I get from it, is the opportunity to network with board members from across the state and learn from them.
Thank you. Then also, I did discuss with Board Member Baldwin that Atlanta was not included in a couple of the awards for the board work, but we will be in the future because we are doing the work. And so I was holding the camera while my Metro Atlanta districts were getting all the awards. And I'm like, wow, Atlanta's nowhere but the camera holder. But that's going to change next year. So with all the work that we're rolling out, yeah, and everything that we're doing, we need to be recognized for that, our hard work, because we do a lot of work. Thank you.
All right, I like a challenge. All right, that's all for updates.
Okay, well, yes, back to me. I do want to mention the 2024 Hope Global Forum that I attend with Dr. Johnson, and really highlighted a partnership with AI and Clark Atlanta, Georgia State, the City of Atlanta, of course, Atlanta Public Schools, and so it was an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, to really focus on AI literacy from K to 12, and then have a feeder pattern to college or university. So I did want to touch on that. Also, I would like to share just a few appointments. The first appointment is Policy Review Committee. I will appoint myself as policy chair temporarily. And I'm doing this I'm doing it temporarily. And I'm going to say on record that I will hand it over to Alfred Shivy Brooks after a few months, and he will then be policy chair. I would also like to appoint Dr. Ken Zeff to Board Development Committee. I have removed myself from Board Development. I would also like to share that I am appointing myself to Audit Committee temporarily, and also external committees. I would like to acknowledge that Dr. Ken Zeff is now appointed to Invest Atlanta, and we'll have some other updates next month. And this concludes my remarks. Dr. Johnson, are you ready? We're ready to hear your remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Happy New Year. And again, Board Member Pace, look forward to working with you. Just a brief recap on the presentations from today. The first presentation was Ms. Karina Wyndham, who's the Director of Equity. She provided an update on just where we are as far as moving our focus and strategies forward. Secondly, we had the monthly financial update from Dr. Bracken, in which she shared, obviously, HB 581, but where we are from a month-over-month basis. And then lastly, the last presentation was our Student Outcomes-Focused Government, which is Guardrail 4, Interim Guardrail 4.1, which outlines Superintendent will not allow struggling schools to be without the following: a comprehensive needs assessment, supports aligned to that assessment, and if struggle persists, up to 3 years, a high-impact intervention. Currently, 29.2 of our traditional APS schools need Tier 2 or Tier 3 support, which is 14 traditional schools when you look at schools that are Title I, and the total is 48 of those schools. Again, I want to congratulate all of our schools that made 100 on Closing the Gaps mastery, content mastery, or progress. I want to welcome Dr. Ken Bradshaw, who's sitting here, who's a new Deputy of Operational Efficiency. Glad to have him aboard. Let's get to work. We're knee-deep in budget, working to close what we know is a fairly significant gap. We're looking at efficiency and effectiveness across the district office, and we'll continue to do that. My 100 days, 100 school days commences on the 21st, and we'll have a report out, post that. And then I know students love this. I'm thinking about my 13-year-old. Report cards come home on Thursday, parents. And our principals, I believe, are all agreed. We're going to send some hard copies home this year. We're going to print on Thursday, yeah. We're going to send hard copies home on Thursday. We talked about it yesterday. And so I think everybody was on board. So if you don't get a hard copy, please ask the question. But we know that supporting students is a two-way street. And one of the things that, and I'll say this and I'll be quiet, one of the things that really resonated with me, frankly, and I've heard it across the district, heard it really loudly at our last community meeting of last year. We were in the South Atlanta cluster at the YMCA over there, and it was a grandmother that had an elementary age student, and what she was articulating to us is that I can't log on. Like that's not my thing. And so we have to understand that we are serving students that have parents that span generations or guardians that span generations. So again, even my generation, my 13-year-old, I'm going to get your printed report card. I'm looking forward to seeing it. This concludes my remarks, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. And I'll just give everybody time to kind of log in real quick on Assembly because it's about to be that time. Dr. Johnson, would you please present the consent agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm pleased to submit the consent agenda items 5.1A through 5.4 for approval.
Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item 5.1A through 5.3L?
Second.
Moved by Board Member Brooks, second by Board Member Briscoe-Brown.
Are you logged in?
Thank you, Ms. Murray. And now we will move to discussion and action. The following All right, thank you. And now we will move to discussion and action. The following items will be discussed. Monthly budget adjustment. Dr. Johnson, please present the budget adjustment information.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 3 budget adjustments this month, 2 for the general fund grants and 1 for special revenue. The first is a $28 decrease to Fund 150 to true up the family engagement allocations. And the next is an increase for the GO grant in the amount of $13,534. Finally, we're bringing Title II carryover forward in the amount of $2 million.
Is there a motion to approve the proposed budget adjustment for FY 2025?
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Briscoe Brown, second by Board Member Brooks. Thank you. Any discussion before I move forward? We good? Okay, thank you. Madam General Counsel, does the board need to report out from executive session?
Yes, Madam Chair, the board needs to take action on 2 items. First, for Student Appeal 2025-01, I request a motion that the Atlanta Board of Education modify the hearing officer's findings of fact and recommendations as discussed in executive session.
Thank you. Is there a motion for Student Appeal 2025-1 for the Atlanta Board of Education to modify the hearing officer finding and facts and recommendation as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Board Member Briscoe Brown, second by Board Member Baldwin.
Then for Student Appeal 2025-02, I request a motion that the Atlanta Board of Education modify the hearing officer findings of fact and recommendations as discussed in executive session.
Is there a motion for Student Appeal 2025-02 for the Atlanta Board of Education to modify the hearing officer finding of facts and recommendation as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved by Board Member Briscoe Brown, second by Board Member Johnson.
The board travel report is a monthly report that details district-funded travel for members of the board and the board office, including the total year-to-date spending. The detailed financial report is a monthly report that details the revenue and expenditures of the Consolidation General Fund. The special revenue report is a monthly report on grant budget adjustments and amended budgets. The construction report is a monthly report on active construction projects that are primarily funded by the voter-approved special purpose local option sales tax, SPLOST.
Each of these reports can be found under the Information tab in Assembly.
Please note that we have launched our board meeting recap videos, which can be found on our website for our stakeholders who cannot attend our monthly meetings. We want to provide every resource available to facilitate stakeholder engagement, so please tell your neighbor.
Neighbor.
We're going to work on that language.
Thank you, neighbor. With that being said, but before I do end, congratulations for your participating in your first board meeting. You survived. And welcome to the Atlanta Board of Education. With that being said, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
All
Moved by
everyone.
No, Jennifer. Moved by Vice Chair McDonald. Second by Retta Baldwin. Any opposed? whatever. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.